Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We know that through a democratic system, we elect our representatives. Uh, some of them are prime ministers, some of them are presidents, some of them are senators, some of them are just deputies, and so on. Now, this is the will of the majority, obviously, and that means that elected official will have that authority to be in that position because the majority gave them that authority and position. What happens when that elected official does not have the majority approval? Let's say has a very poor approval rating. That means he kind of lost the authority to rule, if you want to call it that way, or to have the authority to be in that position. Because at that point, that means that person who is very unpopular, that means lost the authority to of imperium. That means he can't rule. I mean, if you have 30% approval rating, that means technically about 30% of the population agree with you. That means you don't actually represent the majority. So then what do we do with this democratic system that can allow these elected officials to rule with a very tiny minority? Well, they're still over there. They still have a mandate, and they will complete their mandate. But in the meantime, they could screw up the things so badly that generations after he's gone or she's gone will need to, with their proper policies, will need to try to come back where they were before this incompetent individual, or maybe competent depending on how you look at it, screwed up things. We have here, unfortunately, the government of Japan. And as much as I respect Japan and I love Japan, and maybe more so because of that, I'm pointing things out that I think are not in Japan's interest, or maybe not necessarily in the Japan interest, but I don't think they will end up well as a country. I think they are subordinates to one country. And it's fine if you feel to be like that, a subordinate. But I don't think that the Japanese culture, which has, a lot of traditions and, it has its ego, would like that. So let's see what's going on in Japan right now. This article comes from Sputnik, and it is from today, and today is the 5th of February 2023. And this is the title: Japan to authorize deployment of US missiles if Washington initiates talks, reports say. To me, and pardon me if I'm so rough at the edges, it is like you're a woman, let's say, and you say, well, I would, if he initiated. That means you are ready whenever he initiates it. That means it's a done deal. That means you're willing to do that, and the other person will just do whatever. Or let me put it differently: you are a country, and you allow yourself to allow other country to deploy its missiles on your territory. But you cannot deploy any missiles on that country's territory. And you consider it as the other country as being a benefactor, doing something good for you, because you are incapable of providing your own security, and you're incapable of dealing with your neighbors in a, diplomatic manner. I understand that sometimes countries cannot, really find a common denominator, and they have all kind of problems, historical problems, and they ask for certain kind of things that cannot be given. But I think with time, if the relationship develops in a certain direction, things could be achieved. Maybe I'm naive on this one, but I think that could be achieved better than by war. And here we find out that Japan is, getting ready for war with, I can mention 2 countries in the area, maybe 3. The Japanese government is ready to consider the deployment of US medium-range missiles on its territory if Washington initiates official negotiations on this matter. There's not going to be negotiations. It's going to be a deal right there that they're going to say, we're going to give you this, but we need this and this and that. You already expose yourself, you open your or spread your legs, and what negotiation? You're already there. So Japanese press reported, citing an informed source. Now it's going to be US medium range. Do you think that the Japanese will come close to those missiles, let's say in a radius of about a mile? I don't think so. Those missiles will be operated by another country that will deploy them on your territory. You either have a lot of trust on that country to deploy those missiles that can be used against you, or you are under total control of that country and you have no say actually. I think the second option is the one that is the one that functions here, the one that seems to rule. The United States so far has raised this issue only on the sidelines of formal meetings over the past 3 to 4 years, and this question was never officially discussed between the country's leadership, the newspaper reported on Saturday. Now, Washington indicated that a long-range hypersonic weapon, LRHW, the Tomahawk cruise missiles, which are currently under development, are potentially candidates for deployment, the report said. Remember, this is the Japanese government. But wait, let's see the Japanese government. This is the Japanese government. This comes from NHK, World Japan. Okay, so I'm assuming the Japanese news outlet. I just said, okay, give me the polls. So the last poll that I have here from this NHK poll, Kishida cabinet, that is the ruling, the ruling class over there in charge of Japan supposedly, approval rate falls to 33%. So we have here a little graph, okay, and we have here approval rate fell. Something happened here in July, and I wonder what, right? Fell to 33% now. So over there it was 60%, and it fell to 33%. And that's approval, fell. And disapproval, obviously, from about 25, let's say, maybe here it was 20, disapproval, something happened, it rose over there, got up, increased to 45%. So I don't think that this is a good sign. An NHK opinion poll shows that the approval rate for the Prime Minister Kishida Fumio's cabinet has fallen to 33%, down 3% from the last month. The disapproval rate rose 1% to 45%. More than 1,200 people responded to the telephone survey conducted from Saturday to Monday. This is from the 10th of January. Okay, so that's almost a month old. But still, I don't think things just jumped overnight. So they have, they being the Kishida government, has an Imperium approval rating of 33%. Right? That's all they have. So that's a third of the country, if you want to take it like that. So a third of the adults, I'm guessing, because you don't ask the children. So if you take it like that, it's less than 33%, because they did, when they call it, they don't ask children. So approval rating over the adults. So if you take the adults being, let's say, about 60% of the population, and let's put it 70% of the population, because Japan goes down demographically. So let's say you go 70%, all right? So from the 70%, you make it 100%, right? And from that, you get 30%. You get to what? Of the entire population. You get to about what? 20%? About 20% of the whole Japan, according to the poll, agrees with this cabinet. Now, Japan used to be, I think, 115 million people. I don't know, about 10 years ago or so, when last time I checked. So if you take like that, you take 20% of that, they get about 25, 23% of the population approves of the whole population, not only the adults. The whole population approves of these guys. And they make this kind of decisions. Now, what can you do? Work within the system, I've been told here. What does that mean? Wait until these guys get to 0 approval rating, and then you vote them out. And you start to build again your country, if you have one by then. So, let's see what's going on. Such, and I'm quoting, such places as the island of Kyushu and others are possible for deployment, the source told journalists, noting that there have been no specific proposals on development side. Well, let's see where Kyushu is, right? All right, and here is the Japan, and Kyushu is right here in the south. This is an Okinawa in the south here. So Hokkaido is right here, right? The northern territories, the Kuriles Islands, are in the north here, right there. And here is the Kyushu, so it will be Kyushu. Now what do we have here in Kyushu? We have South Korea, North Korea, we have China, we have Russia, right? These ones. So this is where they're going to want to place them, in this big island. I think over there is Kumamoto. Isn't Kumamoto over there? I don't know where Musashi was buried. Anyway, so let's go back to the article, right? And see what other things these guys are telling us. There is also an option that the missiles will be placed on U.S. military vessels stationed in the Indo-Pacific region on a rotation basis. The newspaper reported, adding that missiles deployed in Japan is in line with Washington's plan to create an armament system on the first island chain. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. All right? Remember this guy. Fumio Kishida, 33%, okay? That I'm talking about. Great guy. Met with President Joe Biden, which is about 40% approval rating, I think, to discuss the further strengthening of the military alliance between the two countries during his visit to Washington in mid-January. At the meeting, Kishida indicated Tokyo's plan to buy hundreds of Tomahawk missiles in order to increase Japan's defense capabilities. Prior to the leaders' meeting, Japanese media reported that Tokyo intends to buy up to 500 such missiles from the US by 2027. Okay, well, let's see Biden's approval rating, okay? All right, and we got this article here, and I'm going to go, it's Associated Press, so we are good, because that's a fantastic media outlet. And we find out here in the second paragraph that the new poll from the Associated Press, Newark Center for Public Affairs Research finds 41% of Americans say they approve of how Joe Biden is handling his job as president. About the same as 43% who said that in December. Okay, well, this article is from February 2nd. So, judging by that, he also has Imperium, if you know what I mean. He's got 40% out of the adult population. So again, if you go by the same rating, you get to I'm not going to make a calculation again, 70%, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, how come these countries, and they are democracies, unlike Putin, who's a dictator, they have such a low approval rating? Why is that? Why are they not popular? I mean, a good leader would do what's good for the country, and if a population identifies with the country, then they will approve of his job. You shouldn't look at certain things just based on your, this is my party, this is your party. Because after all, when you get to be the president, you represent the entire population, not the segment that voted for you. When you're the president of Americans, no, not of the Democrats. Okay, he ran on a certain kind of platform. That's true, But still, when it's about national interest, national, policy, you should have a certain kind of approval rating. And that's over there is 43 or whatever that was, 41. That's embarrassing. And how come Putin, the bad dude over there, has much more than that? Almost double. I think he has like 79 last time I checked. 79. The other weasel got 33 and the other weasel got 41. And the big weasel has got 79 last time I checked. Well, maybe this system that we have here, I don't know about the dictatorship in Russia, okay? But I think maybe this system here and the one in Japan is a little bit not working for the ones who supposedly are in charge, which is the population. Could that be possible? So now Japan will get all those weapons over there, and I want to know what the population will say about that. Will Kishida's government's approval rating go to 99%? Or what's going to happen with that one? Because if you create a problem, you point out to an enemy, or more than one, when you are in bad shape. Remember Hermann Göring, that bad Nazi, you remember him? Yeah, the fat guy with opium, and he was an ace in the First World War, an airplane ace, a fighter. He was good, like the Red Baron. You know the Red Baron in the First World War. Well, Göring was an ace too. If you don't know, just check him out. And I'm not defending him or anything. I'm just that's his qualification. That's a fact. He said that if you want to get people united around you in the country when you're flimsy, like 33% or 41%, you point out to an enemy, or you make up an enemy, a boogeyman. And you point out to that enemy, and that enemy is attacking you, or is about to attack you, and then tell them they're going to be attacked, and they will come united so we can fight the enemy. Real or imaginary? And it works like this all the time, as Ellul said, Jacques Ellul, in 1964, I think, in his book Propaganda. It works in the dictatorships, it works in the democracies. Why? Or tyrannies, or free world, as he called it. Why? Because they work with humans, and we have the same psychology. A little bit of nuances here based on our culture and our other things, but we react in the same way. All right, when we are attacked, we have flight or fight. Flight or fight. Remember? No. All right, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.